For a minute.
Need a prayer, man.
Exactly. Just have a moment. We're still 6 points clear.
Thanks.
So this is where we want to be. Sunday game against Man City. That's probably our biggest game for 22 years.
This is where legends are made. This is where everything that you've worked on from pre-season to now comes to a head.
I'd take going out of the semi-finals, but winning against Man City on Sunday.
You know, we're going for the league here. Like, you shouldn't need the manager and the fans even to get you up for it.
But if you had a joint side, there would be more Arsenal players in that 11 than would be Man City players, right? So they've got to look at each other and we've just go, actually, individually, we're better than you.
You can't tell fans to bring their boots and bring their excitement and you're the only ones who didn't.
Is that how you want? You want memes? You have to have stuff like that. Not that it should inspire you, but I'd still be showing and going, have a look.
Where's your pride
He's
now?
taking the mick.
I think this is the biggest week of Mikel Arteta's Arsenal managerial career to date.
I would say 80% of neutrals want us to go there and get beat.
Hello, I'm Nick Bright and welcome to Inside Gooners, bringing you all the latest news and reaction, of course, from the mighty Arsenal. Not the weekend we wanted, I'm afraid. A big step back, really, in search for the title, and here to debate it all, unfortunately for them, is former Arsenal winger Perry Groves and broadcaster CJ Needham, aka Deluded Gooner. I'm delighted to say, of course, this show is sponsored by BetMGM. Download the app or visit betmgm.co.uk, 18 plus, begambleaware.org, and please gamble responsibly. Right, a loss then against Bournemouth, followed by a huge win for Manchester City at Stamford Bridge. But let's focus first, Perry, on us. How are you feeling, mate? Because before we sat down in this room, we're very deflated.
Right, hold on, wait, can we just... I want to hold hands for a minute.
Need a prayer, man.
Exactly. Just have a moment and just go to a higher power.
That's
Mikel.
God help us. God, Mikel, everyone.
Do you know what? Obviously, it was unbelievably upsetting and disappointing. And losing against Bournemouth, and I don't want to be... When people say I don't want to be disrespectful, then you end up being disrespectful, right? So Bournemouth are a very, very good team. I've said before that the middle tier of the Premier League is the strongest ever been. They were 11 unbeaten before they come to us, even though they'd drawn, I think, 7. But they knew, and we knew, they was going to come for us, that they were going to press, they were going to be high energy, and they're going to be energetic. But it was just the way that we lost. The way that we lost was a disappointing thing, because if you lose and you're going out, especially in the last probably 20 minutes, where you go, right, we've got to get something out of this game, and you're getting crosses in, and goalkeepers making like world-class saves, or you go, at least give it was like a stark reminder that the players are feeling the pressure, and they did look nervous, and that's why they were leggy. Footballers' night is like the Wembley leg. Sometimes you get to your first Wembley final, and you start running, you think, there's nothing in my legs for no reason. You know what I mean? Not because you're actually tired, fatigued, or played too many games. It's the nerves and you're overthinking. That's how our players looked on Saturday. So that was the way. Declan Rice was excellent. Yeah. Did everything he did. Eze, when he come on, had a little bit of a spark. So that was a good sign. Apart from that, Chris scoring his penalty, so he keeps his goal record going. But other than that, there was nothing positive to say. But it's still in our hands. You know what I mean? We've got to remind you two and all the Arsenal fans, we're still 6 points clear.
Facts.
So this is where we want to be. But we all know, we talk about Sporting Lisbon later on, the Sunday game against Man City, that's probably our biggest game for 22 years.
I think the problem is, CJ, Perry's right, it's in our hands. If we do the business on Sunday against Manchester City, it feels and looks completely different. Inside Gooners will be a different show next week.
He smiles around.
Yeah, but it's our performances, I think, which are the problem at the moment, not even the losses.
Yeah, man. I mean, Nick, Perry said it all, man, and it's a weird one in that we are still top of the table. We still have it all in our hands, but it's the performances. I know we beat Sporting Lisbon and we'll get onto it, but the last 4 games for me, they've been flat. I can't really see any protagonists. Like Perry was speaking off camera, and I make him right in that I just think fans need something to get behind. Max Dowman, we know he's 16, 17, and we know all the logic that goes against it, but fans will get behind that. And I know we're talking about Bournemouth. The most disappointing thing for me is the fans rose to the occasion. I can't quite say the players and Mikel Arteta did. It was flat. There was no inspiration. Kind of like the mistakes that we've seen all season have kind of shot us in the back of the head with what we did. It just wasn't there, man. And as much as the Bournemouth game annoys me, there are certain things, as I always say here with you two, like for me, it's like the good, the bad and the ugly, and I'm kind of seeing the same old things. You just can't tell us to bring our breakfast and our lunches and things of that ilk and perform like that, players. Now, you can make yourself a hero this week. As Perry said, in 22 years, this could be our most important week. This is a week where if you obviously go and win the Prem, you're looking like heroes. Do you want to be legends or not? You know, we're sat here with someone who's been there, done it for Arsenal Football Club. There's many an Arsenal fan, yeah, that are too young to see the Invincibles. They'll be the first ones you guys remember. And it's what annoys me is we're so close. Like, we've been so close. We're at the final kind of furlong. It's like revising for a test in a school year. And like, when you get to crunch time, now you want to kind of lose your focus, all these things. I don't doubt the nerves. You can have nerves. You're human beings. But there's a lot more to give. And I don't want to be disrespectful to Sporting Lisbon. Obviously, we're not through to the next round of the Champions League. But all the focus with you two, myself and every Arsenal fan is how we react on Sunday. Like, it's a shootout on Sunday, man.
You know how crazy it is?
It's funny,
It's
isn't
mad.
it?
We've got a second leg of a Champions League quarter-final where we're 1-0 up and most Arsenal fans are going, all right, if we win that one, great. And it's not, as you said, there's not the full focus. The players have got to be fully focused on the Wednesday game, right?
But us fans...
You want momentum, you want to win, so you take the positivity. Arsenal fans are looking at that going, okay, if we get in the Champions League semi-finals, that would be great. But I'd take going out of the semi-finals but winning against Man City on Sunday. That's where a lot of Arsenal fans are, if we're being honest.
I'm with that.
Isn't it funny, though, because it'll be the first time in our history that we get to back-to-back Champions League semi-finals and kind of because of the way it's going in the league at the moment and the performances, nobody's really focusing on what could be an incredible achievement for this set of players and this coach. But Perry, you've previously, you know, on many occasions actually, praised Mikel Arteta's work off the pitch and his attention to detail, you know, the way he turns off the screens, or well, not him personally, but, you know, the screens are off at half-time, so the fans are all back out in their seats for the second half and all of that stuff. The attention to detail is second to none. We've seen the team training in front of a big screen this week, watching TikTok videos and all that. CJ brought it up. Mikel asked fans to bring their dinner and breakfast and lunch and all sorts to the stadium. Is it time, though, to just go back to basics a bit? Because this is clearly not working for these last 5 games at crunch time.
Yeah, but what happens is with Arteta, and I love his intensity, because I've said before, we're only where we are because of him. That's it. Forget Edu with his sporting stuff. It was all the players that Arteta wanted in and out. So that's where we are, right? But I think what happens is he's now got to be cut a little bit calmer. Because I love the way he bounces about in the technical area, because I always say teams mirror managers, do you know what I mean? And that energy then transmits to But now this is a case now, if you're a body language expert, you'll be going, just calm down now. Just calm down and be very calm, because when the players are looking over and they're looking for a little bit of guidance leadership and they see the manager is nice and calm, you stay calm. So I think even in the... I don't know, because the stats are going about Man City are brilliant in April. I think they average 2.57 points per game under Pep Guardiola, and we drop off in April. Now, I don't know what the training's like. I don't know if the training's intense, or, you know, he needs to just calm that down a bit. But the other thing is, Arteta's seen the way that Guardiola works. He's been there. He's been his number 2, and he's seen exactly what he does. So you hope that you nick stuff when you're playing football. You nick stuff from other coaches, other players, but he has to elude total confidence and belief. And he will say to the players, and I go back, and we've all been in situations in our life. Everybody's been in a situation in their life where things ain't going well. Nobody's life just goes great. You have rejections, you have setbacks. I got released by Wolves when I was 16, and I was there for 2 years from 14 to 16 as a schoolboy, and then you sign an apprentice. They sent me a letter saying, "Dear Perry, we're sorry, we're not going to give you an apprenticeship due to financial..." Basically, it means you're useless, Ginger. Do one. We don't think you're any good. But my world collapsed, because I'd never been told ever that someone thought that I wasn't good enough.
Yeah.
Even when I was 6, my dad never said well played because I was craving his approval, right? But from 6 to 16, I was best player in the school team, in the Sunday team, in the district team, in the county team. And someone went, "You ain't good enough." Gone, devastated. My life is finished. I ain't going to be a footballer. Crying my eyes out. My dad comes home. Mum says, where's the boy? And I was only child. I think, you can call me Perry. You know what I mean? So Mum says he's upstairs. And I'm crying out. He said, "Right, boy." I went, "Yeah." He said, "What's the matter with you?" So I said, "I'm done, Dad. They don't think I'm any good. I'm finished. I'm not going to be a footballer. What am I going to do?" He went, "Do you know what?" He went, "I think you're good enough. And I believe that you're good enough. And I've got the desire to help you get you want to go to." He said, "But it's not me No good me believing it,
You
me
have
having desire. If you don't believe it, and you don't believe in yourself, and you don't have the desire, it ain't happening. He said, but I'll take you to there's 92 clubs, obviously. I'll take you to 91. Only one coach needs to say that you're good. That's it. So he should give them a speech where they go, in their lives, in their football careers, there'd be times where things didn't happen. Like Declan Rice, great example. Got got by Chelsea, right? So then they've all got, you guys will have a reference point where you go back in your life and you go, oh, that didn't really work out for me. Or when I was working, I didn't get the promotion I should have had. Or, I felt a bit nervous, or that show didn't go well. But you learnt from that and then you move on. Everybody has a reference point. So he should be saying to these, right, it was pants on Saturday. There's no getting over it. It's not even worth going. I must admit, when they go for it, it's not worth say, by the way, you all dropped well below your levels. But I know the levels that you can play, but you have to believe it, and you have to believe in all of your teammates. And if that happens, we'll be right on Sunday. I've got no qualms in that at all, but it has to come from Arteta, aura, and his demeanour, and then that goes down to the players.
Yeah. It's a really good point, and hopefully the Arsenal media team can just clip this up and give it to the boys, because that'd be handy. Speaking of belief, CJ, let's go there then. The fans. I don't know about you, but I'm starting to feel that belief unravelling a little bit amongst some of the Arsenal fans that I chat to online or I'm friends with in real life. There's this kind of acceptance that Manchester City are going to overhaul us.
I don't subscribe to that. Obviously, Manchester City have clicked into gear at a horrible time for Arsenal. Great for them. They've reacted to going out the Champions League. They beat us in the Cup. They beat Liverpool. And obviously, they beat Chelsea. That's going to give you, that's going to make you want it a lot more. Collectively, they look good. Individually, they look good. But as Perry was saying off screen, I'm not being funny. This is the run we wanted to be in, competing against teams who are quote-unquote the best, where it's looking like we're going to go out of competitions or we're not going to get over the line. This is where legends are made. This is where everything that you've worked on from pre-season to now comes to a head. For me, with Arsenal, you just have to look at the last 3 years. Whatever way we've shaped it, we've got so close but so far. Kind of piggybacking off what Perry said, just use that to drive you. And he made a great analogy about your past and coming over anxiety. There's nothing they can say, God forbid, but if we don't win the Premier League, there's nothing they can say about our club that they haven't said in the media in the last 3-4 years. I just want to see us seize the present. I haven't always quite felt that we've really gone for it. Bournemouth's the best example. Of course, we obviously scored a penalty, but I didn't feel from the off we was quite there individually and collectively. I think we've moved on from the point of asking questions of the manager, asking questions of the players. We know the tactics that we're good at. We know what we need to improve. Me personally, I'd like to see us be a bit more direct, but I keep saying it, this week is where legends are made. If you go and beat Manchester City, it's not to say all's forgiven, but you give the belief back. I know the statistics are kind to us, we're top of the table, we haven't dropped that many points, but it's now about using our eyes. When we look to the manager, whether he's looking excited or, as Perry said, whether he's exuding calmness, whether, we see Max Dowman running at people, somebody clamps someone, we're at the point that makes the Premier League what it is. It's gone beyond tactics. As cringe as it might sound, it's just about desire. It's just about getting a job done in these 6-7 games. How badly do they want it? We know the fans want it. They've got to want it now.
You had a brilliant example. What did you say when we was off air?
It's
being calm.
Exactly. It's you're saying you want the manager to exude that level of calmness when there's a lot of turbulence about, and it's a little bit like air stewardesses on a plane, right?
Exactly.
When you're going through turbulence, everybody looks at them to make sure everything's all right, and if they're cracking on, then everything's sweet and you can carry on.
You know what? Even if the plane's going 45 degrees, 41 degrees, and in their heads they're thinking, "Oh my God, we're banging trouble here. I've never done this before." But they've been trained and coached to go, "Here, everything all right? Yeah. We'll probably be down in a minute." Whatever. And no one panics.
Even if they're scared, they have to
exactly,
do that. And that's what the gaffer's got to do.
Yeah, I can't wait for somebody to Photoshop Mikel Arteta and Albert as air stewardess.
Fancy flying up there Sunday morning then.
Arsenal Air. Right, let's go into a few specifics of the Bournemouth game then. And I wanted to talk about the fact that we're just not creating chances, Perry. Open play XG, and I know some people's mileage on XG differs, but 0.9 open play XG, which is 0.19, which is the second lowest since registering
Fulham
0.17 against Crystal Palace, in October 2025. So 0.19. We are not creating chances at home. That's what's worrying for me. At the Emirates, against a team like Bournemouth, again, all due respect to Bournemouth, a really good side, by the way, and I don't mean this in a disrespectful manner, but at home, I want to see us peppering that goal a bit.
Do you know what it was? When you play for Bournemouth, they played free. They weren't under any pressure. I know they've got a great chance, obviously, maybe getting in a European place, right? But they're not under pressure. So you could actually tell that in their legs, everything was fresh. They weren't overthinking stuff. Like Scott was, I think he's a really good player anyway, but he was brilliant. And what happens as well is, what we all want to see is Arsenal fans, we're normally good at controlling the game without the ball. We're normally brilliant. That's, when people say, oh, possession stats, whatever, when we're at it, when we go 4-4-2 and we drop mid sort of, not low, but like in the middle of the pitch, whether it's Gyökeres up front or Odegaard or whatever, we always go like the 4-4-2, and then we start closing down and we're very solid. Against Bournemouth, we were poor on it, but we were really poor off it as well. Yeah. That's when I'm looking at going, all right, if you're poor on it, people can make bad decisions. The passing weren't great, different bad choices. But we were so far off the ball, it was frightening. And what you can do is, he's got to release the hounds a little bit. He's got to be prepared to go, right, we're structured, but when we're in the final third, you go and do what you want to do. If Eze, if you want to go left, you want to go right, there's one for you. Wingers swap over, maybe, for 5, 10,
Would love
minutes,
to see that.
Right? But sometimes it's the players got to take responsibility and just go, oh, do you know what? I've got to try and get something here. I've got to try and go in that little pocket. Because if you look at the players that we have, it's not as if we don't have creativity.
Yeah.
Like I mentioned Eze, I mentioned obviously Odegaard, Declan Rice gets himself into the box. I mentioned about Max Dowman. Max Dowman has to play against Sporting Lisbon. He has to play.
100%.
Because it will lift everybody in the stadium. And he plays with no fear. He doesn't care. He'll get it. He'll dribble. If he gets beat and gets tackled, he doesn't care. He'll get it again. Do you know what I mean? He'll make some bad decisions because he's 16, but others, he's electric on other ones. So that positivity will rub off on the other players. But the XG stuff as well, I think the whole game XG was 2.4 because obviously we had set pieces and free kicks, whatever. I don't really care, but honestly, I don't care if we don't create another chance in free play from now to the end of the season and we score every single goal from a free kick or a corner.
Get the job done,
I don't give a rat's backside. And what happens is when the performance is like that, that's when people start looking at all the other stuff.
Yeah.
And it highlights it. So again, these players, they can on Sunday, they can put it all to bed.
Yeah.
They can just calm everybody down.
Was there CJ a worry from your perspective about the midfield when the starting 11 came out? Because hindsight's a wonderful thing, and I'm seeing lots of people now saying the double pivot, if you want to call it that, of Zubimendi and Rice, coupled with Kai Havertz in the advanced role, I guess, isn't that creative. What's your thoughts on that, and maybe the decision not to play Eberechi Eze from the start?
It's a weird one. With Eze, obviously, it's one thing these players getting fit. We need to keep them fit. So I wasn't really vexed about him not starting against Bournemouth necessarily. I knew he was going to get minutes. We want you for the running. That's kind of cool. I'm not expecting all the question marks I've had about us in the final third. I'm not expecting it to change this season. Kind of like what Perry's saying. Like, it is what it is. Like, at best, I'm hoping for a purple patch from a Max Dowman or whatnot. When I saw the lineup, I'm not really convinced with them, the front three playing together. I do like Gyökeres. I know Gyökeres needs service, and he's been probably our man of the moment, so I was kind of cool with him. Noni, he's somewhat electric. He's going to take his kind of man on. Martinelli, you don't know which one's going to kind of turn up, but I thought you could be fairly direct. Rice and Zubimendi's our pivot. It was more of a thing for me where when I saw the front four, including Kai, I thought we was going to be a lot more direct, go long, work off the first and seconds. We didn't really have our technicians out there kind of thing. We know how Bournemouth set up. So it was kind of that, and I thought we was going to play that lineup. We're going to feed off the energy. All we need is 1 or 2 goals. The game opens up between Areola and Arteta. Bob's kind of your uncle. Where I look at our midfield, maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think Mikel Arteta rates anybody in that pivot if your name's not really Declan Rice or Zubimendi. Yeah. That's not to say he doesn't think they're good players. I know people are clamouring for Miles Lewis-Skelly in midfield, especially when they see Nico Riley. We haven't seen that. Norgard has not started. So the gaffer thinks it's Rice or Zubi. I do think Rice and Zubi, towards this tail end of the season, they look a bit kind of spent and ran into the ground. One thing that's kind of annoying me in that, I think I saw it against City, I think I saw it against Bournemouth, and I think I saw it against Southampton. They're kind of pressing in the 4 and they're kind of standing on Rice and Zubi. Now, everybody will look at those two and say, oh, what do you expect them to do? Anyone that's played football, they're standing on you. So then you have to open up new passing lanes. Or as Perry said off screen, go long and go direct. It's kind of, I just don't know what we're really trying to do. It's one where I wish I was Mikel Arteta, because you've got to manage both boxes. I don't think we look as our sparkling best off it. We're not as compact. We're obviously not as free in the mind, whether it's tactics or psychological in the final third. The midfield's a mixed bag. So when you add this all together, and I feel like I've seen this a couple of times during the turn of the year, I can't really be surprised, on top of everything, why we drop points against Bournemouth, Nick, man. It's annoying.
You know, I think we're better when we go the 4-1-4-1.
Exactly.
I think we're better when Zubimendi is just sits, is the one. Declan Rice is in the inside left, whether it's Odegaard or Eze struggled a little bit when he was playing in the inside right. But when you're doing that and you go the 4-1-4-1, Declan Rice then has the licence to go and get himself forward and get another body into the box. And then you've got to say to Eze, even then, like Odegaard does when he's on it, Odegaard doesn't just stay in the inside right position, he floats everywhere. Goes deep. And I think it's highlighted with Odegaard how much we miss him when he's at his best, when he's flowing, because he gives us control. He goes and gets it, and he has a pivot, he has a swirl, he lends it, he gets it back. And that comes at the minute. If you go back to the Southampton game where we got slaughtered, I didn't think the attitude was bad. I just thought it was very bitter. We kept giving the ball away a little bit too much, and we just looked disjointed. The Bournemouth game was far worse than the Southampton game because, again, we haven't had any control. We need someone just to calm everybody down. And we haven't been put in on Saturday. I can't remember. I watched the highlights of a passing move where we had 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 passes where we look. I know Bournemouth, they press you, right, which is great, but we didn't look comfortable in any stage of that game at all. Whereas before I said we look comfortable when we're not got the ball normally, but then we get it, Odegaard will just lend it and he'll just calm everybody down a bit. So they've got to be brave enough to take more touches. And I played with Paul Merson, right, Arsenal legend. And he said throughout his career, he played 650, 700 games, right? He jumped out of tackles. He used to do it like Skippy, jump out of them or whatever. But he knew, and we knew, that he had the mental strength to go and get the ball.
Still showing
and create something. So we took the fact that he was jumping out of tackle, we didn't want him to get injured, but then we knew that he was going to go and get it, and he was create something, and he'll find a pass, or calm and he'll win your game, or he'll calm everybody down. That's what these players have got to do. They've got to be brave enough to go and get themselves on the ball.
Is there anything in the fact that Bournemouth, you know, they played very well, by the way, and they executed their game plan perfectly, but they didn't have a game. They've not played for 3 weeks, have they, I believe, Bournemouth, whereas, you know, we've had to play. And I think from, you know, what I could tell as an armchair fan, maybe you can shed some light on this, Perry, but I feel like I could tell. They just looked springier, sprightlier. They looked quicker. You know, they had half a yard on us in most places on the pitch. Is there a worry going into the Manchester City game where they don't have a game midweek because they're out of the Champions League and we do, that, you know, they're a better team than Bournemouth? Are we going to get exposed again in that department?
Do you know what? I'll flip that round. Fulham didn't have a game for 21 days. They went to Anfield and they got nowhere near Liverpool. Absolutely nowhere near. Liverpool just playing around them.
Even United yesterday.
And Man United hadn't played for 21 games. They look leggy. Leeds obviously like run all over them. So again, I think that's more of a mindset thing. I think that I said Bournemouth were freer in their minds, and they came and they pressed and they had the energy because they believed in what Areola wanted them to do, and they set out, and they probably knew as well. They fed off our nervousness because they knew it was a massive game. They knew, you know, that we were under pressure. So I don't think it comes. Your brain and your overthinking can make you feel leggy and tired. So the Sporting Lisbon game, even though it's ridiculous, we're not being negative, we're being realistic, right? But we've all got to keep thinking to ourselves, we're 6 points clear at the top of the table, and hopefully if we have a good performance against Sporting Lisbon, we're going to be in the semi-finals of the Champions League. Do you know what I mean? So we've won 4 at last 5, and our performances, Bournemouth. You've got to try and go on the positive side. Won 4 at last 5 in the league, and normally this season, when we've had a bad performance or a bad result, we've reacted. No one's expecting us to go there and win on Sunday. And we keep talking about Sunday. And we got a quarter-final against Sporting Lisbon on Wednesday. This is the madness that we're all going through as Arsenal fans.
Facts. It's mad. It really is.
Yeah, is there a worry though, CJ? And we will talk about the Lisbon game, of course, and the Manchester City game, but just in terms of, this Bournemouth performance, is there a worry that, we're going for the league here? Like, you shouldn't need the manager and the fans even to get you up for it. As a professional footballer, probably going for the greatest accolade that you're going to be able to put next to your name, a medal that's going to go in the cabinet, winning the Premier League. You shouldn't need to be motivated to get up for it. You should just be up for it.
You should just be up for it, and there's a way to lose. Like, there's a reality where we have the same exact results that we've had, but we saw a better performance against Southampton. We was courageous in the League Cup final. The complete opposite of Bournemouth. We might be looking at it a bit different and say, okay, do you know what? Back to the drawing boards. Maybe we could do this tactically, maybe that. But it's the body language, it's the feeding off things. And I've seen several times this season, it's like, if I could show the players one thing, I'd show them the Newcastle game earlier in the season. I know it's very different, but you came from a goal down, you subs reacted, the starters reacted, all sorts of adversity thrown in your face in a horrible away ground. That was one that I will look back and say, if we win the league, that I genuinely think Newcastle away, the penny dropped. You're not a bad players. You're not a bad team. What you are right now is in a bit of a rut. So it all starts from, like, yourselves. As much as I think it comes from Mikel Arteta, I personally think the players have to sit in a room, which they've probably done several times this season, saying, what's going wrong? Let's start dying on our swords. Let's start being courageous. Let's start making it difficult. It all starts from top to bottom. The one thing that does annoy me is whether we win, lose or draw, it's probably the same 3-4 players that I think, whether it's Gyökeres at this moment in time, typically Saliba, young Max Dowman, that needs to be for the collective. I don't doubt that the players care. Like, I think it's very silly if people suggest different. They're not going out there to play poorly, but for whatever reason it's happened. They don't need anything. Like Perry said earlier about the example of in your previous lives, like I mentioned earlier about, in seasons prior, you've got it all. This is everything that you wanted. I've seen all the interviews from you guys about you want to win silverware. It's just now time to suit up and sit up and just go and get it done now. The time for talking's done. Forgive yourselves. If you play poorly and you lose, it's done. You win, you're not as amazing as you are. Just seize the present in these next 6 games, obviously with the Champions League, and just get it done. The players don't need anything. We saw what Rice said when he signed for this club. We see how they speak about the manager. The players just have to do it. It's one where I wish I was a fly on the wall. I just want to see a bit more positive body language above everything, because for me, I'm not a language expert or anything, but I think you can read into these things. Like, just get the nerves and just run towards it. You're human. You can have nerves. Just go for it. Just have no regrets. And I think in the last 4 games, there's been too many regrets. Listen, everyone wants to win every game, innit? Losing and drawing, unfortunately, comes with football, but there's a way to do it, and I just feel there's been a lot more to give, and it can't happen this week. This is the week that legends could be made at this football club, which we'll look back in May at hindsight. So the players don't need the manager to tell them anything. They all speak about it. Saliba said, I'm tired of ending the season with empty pockets and things. Every player must feel like that. When even a young Miles Lewis-Skelly and when they sign new deals, you're playing for Arsenal. We should be winning trophies. You could become legends after winning a Premier League in 22 years. Go out and do it. Don't let your good work go down the toilet now.
You know what they need to be? I want to see as well. I want to see them get a bit angry with each other.
Exactly.
Even on Saturday, obviously I didn't see like the whole game, but again, there was no rabble-rousing. There was no rows. If you're getting run over or people running past you, like for Scott's goal, right, where from Bournemouth's point of view, it's a great goal where Evan Nilsson flicks it inside, but he runs off of Zubamendi. And Ben White is far too wide on the right-hand side, and there's a big gap where he runs through. I didn't see anybody getting angry with each other after that, and even have confrontations.
It's from a place of love.
If you get anger, right, then that will get emotions, and then that will spur you on. And then afterwards, you win the game. You go, God, I'm not being funny. That was a bit cool. Carried away there. No, because it doesn't matter. Yeah. You need to get that. You need if just it's like not happening. You have to get that fire from somewhere. And I'm probably in a bit of a minority. I have no doubts about this team. Not just ability-wise, but their hunger. I have no doubts about it. And you mentioned about the Newcastle game, and there's historical needle in that game anyway. Yeah. I'll reference back to the Bayern Munich game at home. Yeah. Where they were flying, and they're still flying, and they 1-0 up. We didn't blink. Second half, we ran all over them. Aston Villa, awful in the first half. Nervousness, whatever. Second half, it was like they had a little bit of, come on, boys, chaps, let's go for this. We're better. And even Man City are a good side, right? But if you had a joint side, there would be more Arsenal players in that 11 than would be Man City players, right? So they've got to look at each other, and we've just go, actually, individually, we're better than you. I'm going to make sure Declan Rice is going to make sure he's better than Rodri. Do you know
In
what I
your
mean?
individual
You
battles.
just go, right, there you go. And if you're us as well, with Bernardo Silva, when they're on the ball, you'd say whether it's Odegaard or whether it's Eze. By the way, when we're out of possession, I know we want to get shaped, but you go and mark him.
Yeah, stand on him.
You go and stand on him. You go. Football can be very simple sometimes. Do you know what I mean? You just go, right, you make sure he doesn't play. You make sure he doesn't play. Cherky's the one, like, if he plays like left-hand side, whoever's playing, hopefully during Timber, we'll be playing.
Fingers, toes crossed. Yeah, man, we need him.
But then it all comes down to individual battles against who you're playing against. That's it. Do you know what I mean? You just go, make sure he don't play. Make sure you get at him. And have that professional pride where you go, actually, yeah, I've got one over on you.
Yeah. Just a quick one before we move on to sporting. Quick one for you both, I guess. But CJ, you can answer first. Do you think it's right that there were quite a lot of boos at full time for the Bournemouth game?
Do you know what? It breaks my heart that there's boos, but at the same time, in an opposite universe, if it was amazing, the fans would have cheered you on, whether it's the manager or the gaffer. You can't tell fans to bring their boots and bring their excitement, and you're the only ones who didn't. And I'm not being funny, like, this is an adult's game, innit? You have to be able to take it. The rough, the smooth, the good, the bad, and the ugly. It comes with being an Arsenal player. You've been booed prior at Arsenal. You will be booed again, but equally you could get cheers. And maybe you need to feel that, because maybe it's one thing, the manager telling you things, you individually knowing what went wrong, you as a collective knowing wrong. But when you see the fans, the season ticket holder that's, you know, been going to the Emirates more years than you've been alive, you know, the young fans, immediately the feeling of disappointment, you do need that. You do need that, because this is real life. This is reality. The Premier League means more than they could imagine to every Premier League, to every Arsenal fan. And even going back to Perry's point about us defensively, like, we're a good defensive team. But I look at the first goal where Noni, Ben White, the whole back five, even Rice, to be fair, and Lewis Skelly, they've gone to sleep. We're meant to be one of the best defensive sides in Europe. So I know that's something mentality-wise. So you need that. You need to just take the boos on your chest. If you can't handle that, then I'm sorry, I don't think Arsenal Football Club's the one for you. I'll be honest.
Do you know what it is? I think the word you mentioned there was disappointment. The boos weren't angry boos. I know when after the game it was a boo, it was a disappointment, not a boo. There's different.
Flat.
And the context does make a big difference. Is because it's like, again, I keep going back to my dad, who's like my hero. When he used to say to me, "I'm not angry with you, I'm just disappointed."
That hurts more than
that was worse. That was worse.
That's worse than
That's
anger.
far worse.
Yeah.
So what it was, it's not the Arsenal fans not believing in this group of players and being angry with them. It's like they're disappointed in that one game.
Exactly.
Right. So again, as Arsenal fans, as a player who got booed quite regularly, that does no players any good whatsoever.
It hurts.
And any player that tells you it doesn't bother them, are like, if the away fans are booing you, and you're like, when we go, I want it to be as hostile as possible. Etihad isn't known for being hostility, is it? It's not known like you're going into Ellen Road or you're going to
Newcastle,
James Park, whatever.
Or Liverpool.
I want it because they, by the way, and the other thing as well, I don't do TikTok or whatever it's called, but there's a meme.
Get on there,
going around.
Perry. Come on.
But the thing is, it's made me laugh. There's a thing going around with the Man City fan with the empty Arsenal bottle,
his son.
like your bottle with his son. He got that off of the Arsenal physios when he was sat next to the dugout and his boy had lost his drink and he said, "Can I have a drink?"
favour.
So Arsenal being Arsenal class, go, "Yeah, of course you can. Have a drink, not a problem." Now he's used it and apparently he's got a message in there that no one else knows. You know what he's going to, right? I'd be showing that and I'd be saying to the players, is that how you want? You want memes of, he thinks they've won the title.
Yeah.
Right?
They smell blood now.
So you need to be able to go, can we have that bottle at the end of the season? I'm going to stamp all over it or what, burn your message, whatever.
Yeah.
You have to have stuff like that. Not that it should inspire you, but I'd still be showing them going, have a look.
Where's your pride
He's
now?
taking the mick. I'd show them even before they went out.
Yeah.
Because that gig is going to be somewhere in the Etihad, which I must admit, when I saw it, I thought it was quite funny, right?
Yeah, no, it's fine.
But
Just a
it's
shame
like,
us.
I want to ram that bottle, right? Honestly.
Yeah.
And they should be, I want it to be, they're going to be really confident, Man City fans and the Man City players.
Yeah.
Really confident,
Momentum
right?
left them.
And what you hope is there's a bit of overconfidence where you can go and dampen them down. And if we can score first, that completely changes the whole atmosphere. Because Man City fans now actually think that they've won the title.
Yeah. Well, listen, we're going to get onto the Man City game properly in a minute, but let's talk about what's happening in between. We've got like
quarter-final of the Champions League. Sorry,
an appetizer.
Completely skipped over
It seems in between. More positive news, of course. We're 1-0 up in the Champions League quarter-final against Sporting. Perry, just how desperate are you, and I guess you're here speaking on behalf of Arsenal supporters, how desperate do we need a decent performance, not only a win, a decent performance on Wednesday?
Yeah, you need energy, We need creativity. We need a spark, and we've mentioned before we need a lift. I want
Massive
the Arsenal fans to bring positivity. When we played North London forever and the Champions League thing comes, whatever, but they will get the positivity. They see the way that we start, and the way you get your confidence back is the easiest way in football to get your confidence back is be brilliant off the ball.
Exactly.
Be brilliant, closing down, getting tackles in, nicking stuff. Because if you go and close down and you nick it, then you're not overthinking. When you've got the ball, you're playing naturally because it's a bonus that you've won the ball back high up the pitch. So I'm looking at energy off the ball, then you start getting a little bit more confident. But Max Dowman has to start.
I agree.
Right, CJ, are we expecting some returnees, do you think? How important is it to get some of our, important players back into this team? The spotters have been out today, I can tell you, and Calafiori's not been spotted at training. Declan Rice has not been spotted at training. Jurien Timber's not been spotted at training. Did I say Bukayo Saka? Not spotted at training. Martin Odegaard not spotted at training. So
who's there, man?
There's a little bit of worry online, but me and Perry were talking about this before we hit record down here, and sometimes Arteta does play games and hide people away.
This is the thing with the gaffer, man. He does play games. He makes you believe players are not going to be there, then they're there, and vice versa of that. I've always had the belief from August to now. I just deal with when the match day squad comes out, whoever's on the bench, whoever's in the 11, that's what we're dealing with. Generally, of course, we need all our players for this running. When we lost to Bournemouth, one of the first things in his post-game conference he said was, we need everybody fit, we need everybody there. It's a weird one because it is, the knockout competitions stage of the competition. It is, getting to a semi-finals, and I do think while we're disappointed with the Prem, we are, including myself, we're kind of forgetting the great platform we have in Europe. Listen, the last time the fans went there on Saturday, you didn't give them a performance. At least give it to them on this occasion. I keep using the term momentum because I genuinely believe at this moment in the season, however you can get it, individually, collectively, whatever competition, whatever transferables, go and get it. So it's imperative for obvious reasons that we obviously go through to the next round and win the game, but we need a performance. I would love for you to be sparkling great and amazing. I'm not even asking for that. I'm just asking you to be great off the ball, stop the individual mistakes. And as Perry said at the start of this, when you're in the final third, do what you're paid for. Do what's made you a footballer. I actually think a lot of Arsenal fans in the first leg at Sporting were quite harsh on us. Like, I understand they wanted this great performance, but if you just done your homework on Sporting, they set up great and it was a kind of decent game. We came away with it. But unfortunately, in these last 4 games, the Sporting result, it looks like a blip sandwiched in with what's happened in the Prem. So it's imperative, man. I keep saying it. This is a massive week. This is the biggest, in my opinion, I think this is the biggest week of Mikel Arteta's Arsenal managerial career to date. So we need to act like it. And the players as well. Everybody needs to act like it. And you know what? Bring your lunch, bring your shin pads, bring everything, and let's turn it on, man. We need to.
Not the lunch again.
Yeah, bring everything, man. Bring the whole fridge.
If you're bringing in the whole stuff, can I have sticky toffee pudding?
Yeah, bring everything, man.
I need a little sweetener just at the end for blood sugar levels. You know what I mean? To get them up.
Here's one for you both. And I feel like I know what the answer's going to be, but I'm going to ask it anyway. Is all forgiven if Arsenal miss out on the league title but win the Champions League? Because we've never won the Champions League before.
That's where we are. How nuts is it, right?
Yeah,
where we
mad,
are.
innit?
No, seriously, where we are, for me, yes. Because I said beginning of the season, we have to win one of the big boys, either the Premier League or the Champions League. So for Arsenal fans, it should be everything. It's like, oh my God, we're champions of Europe. We've got the gold star. And then that shuts everybody up that you never won like the big one, right? But we all know that if we win that and we don't win the Premier League, the neutrals and the outside knowledge will be, well, you bottled it in the Premier League.
4 years now.
Well, so for me, I'd take it. But I've flip-flopped because of the outside. The Premier League is now the most important thing because of where we are and the history of, us coming second 3 times. But again, the madness that Arsenal fans are at and the turmoil you have in your own head is, if they begin the season, if you'd have said, by the way, you're going to win the Champions League this year, every Arsenal fan would have gone, I'll snap your hands off.
We're delirious, yeah.
Because it is the big one, right? And you can imagine at the end of the season going, well, you won the Champions League, but you've bottled it in the Premier League, so you've had an all right... You're champions of Europe, and you've had an all right season.
Yeah.
That's the madness of football at the minute, isn't it? It's like,
you can't win.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, it's
but we can, because it's all right winning one of the big ones. That's it.
Yeah, they can't tell us nothing if we win the Premier or the Champs, man. Like, I'm a hypocrite because kind of exactly what Perry just said there. If you ask me to just pick for myself and disregard the millions of people that support this football club, I haven't seen us win a European trophy in my 31 years. I haven't seen us win the champs. We've never done that. I would have picked that. But I do think we need a Premier League. I keep referring to the Emirates as a new stadium. It's not. We've been there for 22 years. Arguably, in the last 4 years, some of these individual players and collectively have been some of the best in this kind of period. You don't have anything that goes down in folklore. The Premier League is the one we need, in it. Like, I think we need to get that one over the line, because every year that we don't, it's getting bigger. We're talking about anxiety. We're doing this and we're doing that. And as much as I think if you win the Champions League, nobody can tell you anything. You're top of the top for club football. I do think over a 38-game period where the Premier League is, you know, you're going to play good, you're going to play bad, but you've shown it over a marathon. So we need the Prem. But at this moment and how I feel this week, I want the Premier, yes, of course, but I'll bite your hand off if you could guarantee me either trophy, because one thing we can't do is end this season silverwareless. Like, that would be catastrophic, and I don't know where we go from there.
Well,
God forbid.
All right then. Well, let's
What
get
about
on.
you?
Yeah. You skipped over it. Like,
The presenter don't just get away.
I asked the questions.
Yeah, was that it? Oh, you don't-
Politician,
but-
man.
It's such a difficult.
I know the thing is,
Honestly.
but how mad is it
Like-
that you're actually thinking about it in turmoil of being offered the Champions League? I'm not, again, by the way, we're not saying we're going to win the Champions League,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Because
yeah.
we're not going, oh, we're doing that. But what I'm saying is, the turmoil as an Arsenal fan is, we just said to you, you win the Champions League, but you're opening the Premier League, and you're going,
Yeah, we're all doing it.
it's crazy.
It's exactly what you've both said, though. It's the outside noise. The unfortunate thing is we're in a position now where even if we win the Champions League, which, you know, don't get me wrong, I'll be absolutely
move the
delighted
goalposts.
with, you know, if we win the Champions League. We've never done it.
Yeah.
But the PR and the outside noise around dropping those points and not getting over the line in the league, that will not leave us, even if we win the Champions League. And that's my only worry. By winning the league, even if we don't win the Champions League, we put all that to bed. Do you know what I mean? And then we go again next year in the Champions League. But let's go there with the big one then on the weekend. We've kind of weaved it throughout this conversation anyway. But would you say, Perry, it's winner takes all? You know, or do you think there's going to be more twists and turns after the Manchester City?
I think if I'm being brutally honest, it's never done and dusted, because you said, like, you can drop. We've had history of dropping like points where we shouldn't before, right? But if we won on Sunday, quite rightly, then you'd think there's such a buffer that we've given ourselves that you can afford a draw or a loss. And I think Marcel, again, it would be the mentality shift of going to the Etihad and winning, and what it does to this, again, group of players for the last 5 games of seasons,
Brings them up.
where you're just like, you feel, I know we're Arsenal fans, but then you feel invincible. You go, we're all right. We've gone there. We've made
Take on the world
it's
now.
a statement. I'm not saying it'll be done and dusted, but it's a huge. You would say it would be 80% done. If we win the game. If we go there, I want us to go there and go to win. I don't want us to go there and go
100%.
like we saw Chelsea, 100%. Like in the first half at home. They sat deep, didn't they? Man City played like thinking, well, we'll score in a minute. Man City were playing like a testimonial game.
Yeah.
But even in that, Chelsea still had 2 or 3 big chances. Like Cucurella was unlucky, obviously, the offside.
goal,
right. So what happens is Man City still give you chances and opportunities.
You have to kill them.
You've got to be clinical and brutal to take the 1 or 2 chances they give you. But I want to see us go there and go for it. I don't want us to go and see there and think, right, what do we do is we're not going to give anything away and see if we can eke out a draw. Because what will happen is you drop deeper and deeper. They've got enough players individually that can do something in a nanosecond.
And if you concede when you're playing like that, you know, maybe you can shed a little bit of light on this, Perry. Like, game state plays a massive part in football.
Yeah.
You know, when you're trying to soak up the pressure, sitting back, you're not playing free-flowing football. You're not thinking about attacking. You're not finding those passing lanes. You concede a goal because the plan was to try and nick a draw or nick a 1-0. And then you're like, right, well, we can't just switch it on now. Do you know what I mean?
You can't get out of that mindset. Honestly, you can't. If you go there for survival football, it's very, very difficult to go, do you know what? We're going to go for it now, because you've been set up. I'm not saying that Arteta's going to do it, but if you've been set up like that, and I get teams that go to the bigger clubs, if you go to, even though Liverpool were like inconsistent, but if you go to the Etihad, if you go to like Leeds did, I want to see us play like Leeds did at Old Trafford yesterday. Leeds were unreal, weren't they? They just went, right, we're going to go. Man United in really good form. we're going for you. They played their not a 5-3-2. I'm not saying we play that, but the two up front, Okafor and Calvert-Lewin pressed. Leeds went long. They made it fight balls, with the
worked off the
halves.
first and second.
And then they worked off that and they pushed themselves further up the pitch. So that's not a bad benchmark to go to because, as you say, it's difficult to get out if you're playing, let's see if we can nick something. We're on Man City's level. We shouldn't be going to places like this thinking...
We're still in the driver's seat.
Bournemouth came to us. Individually, Bournemouth's players aren't as good as what our players are. Yeah. But they showed that collectively, if they believe in what Ariel wants them to do, they came and they went for us because they were going to think, right, if we get beat, we'll get beat by going for it. We might get beat 3-1 or 4-2. But when we sit afterwards, we can sit there and go, do you know what? We left it all out there. We couldn't do anything
no
else.
Regrets.
Yeah.
Exactly that. Yeah.
Is there something in the fact, though, CJ, that it's just happening at the wrong time in terms of, like, when we played Manchester City at the Emirates, I know they didn't have Mark Gay at that point. They didn't have Semenyo at that point.
Well, he went Mike Bassett, didn't he?
Yeah, that's what I mean. We battered them, really.
Yeah.
We didn't get the win, unfortunately. We battered them. Now it's totally different. We're kind of not as free-flowing and swashbuckling as we were, and Manchester City seem to have, found some form. Is it a case of, wrong game, wrong time for Arsenal?
100%. Like, history isn't kind to us in April. History is very kind to Pep Guardiola. I think when you look at the fact that they went out the Champions League, beat us in the League Cup, beat Chelsea, beat Liverpool, and now they've got the bit between their teeth. They're in the momentum's with them. They're in a different psychological moment. I won't quite say we're fractured, but we do not look like them. It's not really kind to us, in it. So there is that, but I don't want to sound cringy, but it keeps relating back to what I'm saying. Like, this is the week where you lot become Arsenal legends in hindsight if you go and win the Premier League. You've actually done quite well in recent years at the Etihad. You still haven't won. Like, I think the last time we won, Santi Cazorla and Francis Coquelin was our midfielders.
Cazorla was unreal.
And he was unreal. But why? Because he stood because he stood up to be counted. That's what I want to see from our boys. History isn't kind, but at the end of the day, you've got to want to write a new era in it. You want to compete against the best. As poor as City are in comparison to what they used to be, they could get a domestic treble. Go and spoil their day. You owe them a defeat. You owe them a deficit of defeats. As you said there, like when Haaland came off in the second half against City and they were camped in their home half at the Emirates, you're not going to get that one. You'll step into their house. It's going to be a different entity. So just be free of the mind. Go for it. And that's what our fans are wanting for. Just give us something and believe in yourselves, man, because obviously I've never been a Premier League footballer, but if I see Rice go for something and go for a shot or do something, if I'm Zubimendi, that might make me want to try something. That might make a Bukayo Saka, who has been struggling for form, try something. So this is where the manager's got to earn his money. This is where the players have got to earn their money. And it's like what Perry said. People say, oh, we're deluded Arsenal fans. We are, to a degree, on par with City. We've been fighting with them on several fronts. Go out there and prove that you can beat them across the course of a season. If you go and win that, for me, I think we've won the league. You'll always have my support. I can't say I would bet money and I'm believing that we're going to win on Sunday beyond my deluded belief. Go and prove me wrong. Go and prove me wrong. Go and show me that the Bournemouth game was a blip. But we're just going to have to wait, man. We've got to get free sporting, innit?
You know what? The whole world stops on Sunday.
Exactly.
I'm not just talking about this country. We know how big the Premier League is around the world. Everybody will be pleased. And I would say 80% of neutrals want us to go there and get beat.
Yeah,
exactly.
100%.
Right? So what you do is, as a player, and we were talking again off air about stuff, right? Even Arsenal fans, as a club, as the management, as the coaching structure, whatever, this is where we've fought to be. We're relevant now. When Arteta first come, we were relevant. No one cared. We was eighth, and then could we get in, Champions League positions? He's turned it around. Again, as players, in our lives, there's very, very few times where you actually take a step back and you absorb everything. You go,
come a long way.
This is quite good. What they should do, go out and they walk out before the game on the pitch and just look around, just think, this is where I'm. It should make you tingle. It should be like, do you know what? This is where I want to be. Declan Rice, like released by Chelsea, going through that pathway. Saka coming through Hale End and coming and go. This is exactly the stage that I want to play on for one of the big trophies, and absorb it all. Do you know what I mean? And just
don't take it for granted.
Look around at each other because this is a chance. This could be a massive game in Arsenal's history where you look back and you go, remember that time when bang under pressure, where everybody thought was going to get beat at the Etihad. We went there and won and made a statement. And I go back to the culture game in '89, which I was lucky enough to be a part of. Before that, we'd lost against Derby on the Saturday, drew against Wimbledon at home. It was in our hands, And then we were going to be accused of being bottlers, and we had to go to Anfield and beat them by 2-2. Everybody knows, like all Arsenal fans know, pivotal cultural game in this country, whatever. George Graham was like, lads, we're going to do this. I have no doubt whatsoever we're going to go. And those Arsenal fans and even neutrals remember where they were when they watched that game.
Exactly.
This could be the same. This could be the same on Sunday. Our players have a chance of stamping their mark on our history and they're not legends at the minute.
Exactly.
Because they haven't won anything.
Yeah.
So this is aim when you're going up there being nervous. You'll be like, no, I've been watching it. Wherever. Just think, this is where we want to be. We're relevant now. This is it. Us against the world. Circle the wagons.
Exactly.
And let's hope we can stick 2 fingers up.
Yeah. Let's go out there and do it, it seems. Now it's time for our bet builder with BetMGM. Remember, you can download the app or head to betmgm.co.uk. Right, keeping it simple, I'm going to do both teams to score. Perry?
Over 4.5 corners.
For Arsenal? Yep.
I feel like either team could hit the woodwork.
All right, so just to reiterate, that is both teams to score over 4.5 Arsenal corners, and the woodwork is going to be hit by either team. Right, that is all we have got time for on Inside Gooners. Thank you for your company, of course. Thank you to my guests, to Perry Groves, and to the Deluded Gooner, aka CJ. This show is sponsored by BetMGM. Download the app or visit betmgm.co.uk, 18+, gambleaware.org, and come on, you Arsenal!
North London forever.
Let's go.